Okay, great to be back on the grass. Had the bye week there. Guys were able to go for the fresh. We spent a lot of time last week as a coaching staff pulling it apart, and I think really had a very productive week. This being a bonus day in our preparation for Houston, we're able to talk about our key learnings from the bye week, able to introduce the Texans and their scheme to the team, and then get out in the field and work to stay sharp. It was good to see Nick Chubb back out there, Wyatt Teller, obviously Austin Hooper, who was back last week, but good to see those guys out there, Jacob Phillips as well. With that, I will take any questions.
Thank you, Coach. The first question will come from Tom Withers.
Thank you, Rob. Hey, Kevin. Number 24 looked pretty good from afar. How did he look up close, and how much was he able to do?
Yeah, I was joking. He was fresh legs out there. He looks like Nick looks. He's ready to roll out there at practice. Obviously, he's chomping at the bit. He's done everything in this rehab that has been asked of him. As you can imagine, he's attacked it. So we'll see how the week unfolds here.
Okay. And then in terms of Baker, is there any kind of an update? I know you're waiting for tests and such. Are you optimistic that he'll be back on Wednesday?
Yeah, Tom, no update. I can't really get into it. We're just following all the protocols. And, in this day and age, all of our guys are doing their absolute best. And, nothing's foolproof. But we'll make sure that we just follow all the rules.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Tom. Mary Kay Cabot has our next question.
Can you just elaborate a little bit on what it was like to maybe just not have Baker out there on your bonus day today? And does that represent, a little minor setback for your preparations for the Texans, or how do you sort of view that?
Yeah, Mary Kay, he was on our virtual calls this morning. So he's very much involved in what we're doing from a meeting room spot. And then, he'll watch this tape. We'll watch it with him. Anytime you're not out there, you wish you had all your guys out there to get the reps. I mean, that's just natural, but we'll make sure we bring him up to speed as soon as he's back in the building.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mary Kay. We'll go to Scott Patrick next.
Hey, Kevin, you guys have been so careful to reduce the close contacts. Is there anything else that could have been done regarding Baker?
Scott, we've tried to, like you said, tried to be very careful, tried to make sure at every moment we're reminding the guys. And at some points, there's going to be some unfortunate moments, but I can promise you all of our guys are being diligent about this. No one, I can promise you, is flippant in any way about of the rules, the protocols, et cetera. So we just all of us got to make sure that we stay on top of it.
And I know you guys had to go into those intensive protocols. So how different was it? And do you feel like it hampers you in any way having to go through the changes?
Yeah, Scott, not much different. We had been moving to so much virtual already. So maybe the main difference, guys are wearing the Oakley face shields. That's mandatory. But all in all, it's pretty similar to what we've been doing. And I told the guys this morning that we've been meeting virtually since April, and we've been able to cover a lot of ground. So we got to make sure we continue to do that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Fred Greetham, you're up next.
Hey, we saw Miles out there. Is he restricted or limited any, or is he pretty much over the injuries he had?
Yeah, he's in good shape. We'll see how he responds to this and how he looks Wednesday, but he looked good to me out there today.
Thank you, Fred. Nate Ulrich, you're up.
Kevin, similar question about Wyatt Teller. Obviously, you got so many important guys back, but how did Wyatt fare today?
Yeah, I think all these guys, Nate, as they come off of this, we're going to be smart. We're going to work them in, and then really the big thing is see how they respond. So got them out there. It was great to see have those guys out there, Wyatt included, and then we got to see how he comes out of it right now. I'm sure he's in there talking to trainers, and then sleep on it for 24 hours and come back, see how he's feeling. So we really got to let these days guide us.
I know obviously Nick Chubb coming back would be a big boost. When you think about the running game and how good it was rolling when you had everybody, but to get the combination of Nick and Wyatt back, what kind of lift do you think that could give you guys on offense?
Yeah, Nate, I think we'll see how this unfolds this week. But you're talking about two good football players. So if we are able to get them back, I think that will give a boost to our team.
Jeff Shadell, your line is open.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. The self-scouting you did you find a lot of things to take out of the playbook, or what kind of things can you tell us about?
Yeah, Jeff, I can't get into too specifics, but I'll tell you, we pull it all apart. And then what happens is you get all this information from the coaching staff, from everybody, and you compile it and you talk through it, you pull it apart, and then you check the tape. And I think for us, what we tried to do is on offense, look at the run game, look at the pass game, look at us situationally, same on defense, and maybe find some areas that we're good at and why are we good at them, and make sure we protect those type of things. And then things that we're just not so good at, if it's play on offense, for instance, like you mentioned, we can throw that play out if it's not working, and there's plenty of other plays. So it's really just spend a lot of time on those 8 games. I think that's the nice part of having a bye week right in the middle, where you get a nice 8-game sample, and you can really make some determinations based on that sample.
Tony Grossi, you have our next question.
Kevin, did your self-evaluation result in any lineup changes?
I think that we'll see, Tony, how that all shakes out over the next few days. Obviously, in terms of when you're pulling it apart, you're looking at scheme, but of course you're looking at personnel just the same. So we'll make sure that we continue to have discussions with the coaches. And as you know, and as you've seen, we play a lot of people. So we're going to be counting on a lot of guys. We're going to continue to rotate guys in there. But as it relates to specific lineup changes, we'll just see how that plays out.
Okay, and question on Hooper. I know he didn't play the last game, but he had averaged like 73 catches his last 2 years with Atlanta and 5 touchdowns, and he's on pace for like 44. Is that a reflection of your scheme and spread it out, or are you disappointed with those numbers?
Yeah, I'm in no way disappointed with the impact that Austin's made, missing these last 2 games. I've said this before. Any success that we have had on offense, number 81 is heavily involved. So I think we're really excited to have him back. He's a real threat in the pass game. He's been great in the run game. So in no way am I disappointed. No.
Okay, thank you.
Jake Trotter, we'll go to you next.
Yeah, Kevin, obviously it's different kind of season, crazy times. You almost feel fortunate, even though, Baker's your quarterback, that he was the only player to have to go on the list because of the close contact?
Yeah, like you said, Jake, it's a different year. It's 2020, so you got to be prepared for anything. Got to be ready to adjust. We knew at some point, with everything that's going on in our country, that there's a high likelihood of something like this happening. We got to make sure that this is, doesn't happen, doesn't become a habit, so to speak.
Do you have any details on Odell's surgery plans for this week?
I don't. I know he's got surgery planned, but I don't have any details, no.
Thank you, Jake. We'll go back to Mary Kay Cabot.
Yeah, Coach, just in general, in watching practice today and looking out there and seeing, Jacob and Austin and Nick and Miles and Jarvis and just everybody. And the only person really that was over there on the bikes was Joel. And we didn't see Jack Conklin, by the way. But for the most part, it looks like you guys coming out of this bye are as healthy as you've been, except for Odell, really since the beginning of the season. So how do you feel about heading into this home stretch with almost a full complement of players?
Yeah, I think, Mary Kay, that the NFL season, it's a slog. I mean, it's every game comes at you, and every team deals with injuries. We're no different. So again, to get this bye right in the middle, to be able to have guys that are coming back potentially off of this, I think can be a big boost to our guys. And like we've mentioned before, nobody feels 100%. That's how it goes. So they're all battling through different things. But it is nice to have those guys back out there.
And can you tell us where Jack was today?
Yeah, he was excused. I expect him back on Wednesday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Scott Patrick, back to you.
Hey, Kevin, I did want to ask you about that one guy on the bike. Joel didn't do anything last week, and then today, is he going to be all right?
He should be, yes.
Okay. Can you say what's bugging him?
Elbow, but he's I think you guys know him. He'll be just fine.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Tony Grossi.
Kevin, I assume you're still in let's go 1-0 mode, but at some point, do you use the word, do you address the playoff picture with your team?
Yeah, Tony, I think for us, we'd be doing ourselves a disservice if we concern ourselves with anything other than the Houston Texans, who I think are a good football team. So I don't think it helps us to set our gaze anywhere but where we are right now. And that's a big game this Sunday in our building versus, I think, a really good football team.
And prior to the bye, Landry and Hunt were banged up. Are they in better shape now? Did the bye week serve them well?
Yeah, I think they're in better shape, but I would also go back to saying nobody's 100%.